Going on, guys? Very solid day today for AMC. 8.5% in the green. The next few videos that I put out are going to be relatively short. There's no need to really drag them out. I'm going to be covering the charts that I find are the most important. The tracking looks absolutely fucking phenomenal. I'm not going to go crazy into EMAs. I'm not going to go crazy into RSI. I'm going to be showing the macro. I'm going to be showing the flat portions, the full flat portion of both cycles, and then zoomed in on the final iteration. And that's pretty much it until I see a break of a certain level. If you've been paying attention, you'll know what level that is. There's two levels that are very important to the upside right now. Two levels I'm keeping my eye on. With that being said, let's jump right into the video, starting with the macro. Macro break right here. Oh, sorry. Let me start with this. First, downtrend from 2017 until you squeeze January 2021. The comparable would be the downtrend here from the breakdown on the flag from the June highs, the downtrend from here until present day. Macro break right here, this gap down. Macro break right here, this gap down. W that plays out sideways on both sides, and then you get into the downtrend. Laddering down one step at a time. 6 points takes you to the end of the blue. And then over here, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just laddering down until your 6 point, which from there you drop down to the flat portion where you have 3 touches on the bottom. 1, 2, and 3. The third touch is the lowest low on the flat portion, lowest low in range, and from that lower low you form an uptrend, which breaks you out of the triangle, and then a straight line into your squeeze. And in the current cycle, 1, 2, and we finally checked off the lower low last Friday. After hours, that absolutely disgusting knife, 25% into the red. But we are now forming an uptrend, 8.5% in the green today. It looks very good. This bounce off of this third bottom here will be breaking us out of this triangle for good and leading to a squeeze. So with that being said, let's jump into the micro. And what we're doing for the micro is zooming in on the flat portion here, the 1, 2, and 3 touches, and then the 1, 2, and 3 touches in the current cycle here. So looking at that now, I covered this exact chart in my video yesterday. I will not be covering it today, not this one specifically. I want to point something out. Pulling this chart up without extended hours looks fucking mint. Beautiful. I mentioned that this third peak of the tri-peak was very exaggerated and probably the worst fake out that I've ever seen on AMC. As far as the tracking that I have done, this was the worst fake out that I've ever seen. But zooming in on this, or sorry, not zooming in on it, but looking at this without extended hours, this looks fucking incredibly good. So again, we're looking at the flat portion of the January cycle up top, which led to the squeeze, and the flat portion of the current cycle on the bottom. So when you drop down from your 6 point, you get your first bottom, which is very choppy down here, breaking above this blue line. Again, the blue and red horizontal lines are very important, so pay attention to them. So very choppy down here at your first bottom. In the current cycle from the 6 point, same thing. Downtrend breaks you below the blue horizontal line, very choppy, few pokes above it, and then you get the gap up over it as you see right here. From there, 6 peaks in increasing height. Same over here. The January cycle, this played out much slower than the current cycle. However, the final iteration, the W with the tri-peak, played out faster in the 2021 cycle than it is now. That being said, we are at the end of it regardless. We just hit our third bottom. So from that 5th point right here, you get another downtrend, which takes you down. You break below the red horizontal line, and you bounce perfectly off the blue, form this W type move with a lower leg on the left, which brings you back up to the red horizontal line, which is where you find your rejection. And then from there, you come down to your second bottom, breaking below the blue line again. Over here, same thing, downtrend, breaks you below the red horizontal line, bounce perfectly on the blue horizontal line, lower leg on the left, come back up to the red, reject it, and then come down to your second bottom. From your second bottom, you gap up. In both cycles, you gap up again over that blue horizontal line and have 3 pokes above the red horizontal line, the tri-peak. So 1, 2, 3. Very dragged out here to get the third peak, but we got it nonetheless. Over here, same thing, gap up, 1, 2, 3. And then from your third peak, you reject the red horizontal line again, which you do here. So you get the peak, you come down chopping at the red line, get the peak, come down chopping at the red line. You reject the red line again, come down to your third bottom as you see it over here. The third bottom is the lower low. It was here as well. This is all-time lows on AMC and the lowest low in the flat portion. This is what we were looking for, and that's what we got on Friday. So we got the gap down Friday. We got the lower low that I was looking for, and then found a bounce off. Again, I want to reiterate the fact that both your second and third bottom, you're rejecting the red line to get there. So you get the cup move here, you reject the red, you come down to your second bottom. Over here, you from your second peak of the tri-peak, you come down, bounce up, and then again, reject the red line, come down to your third bottom. Very slow, choppy downtrend for both here, compared to the current cycle where you reject the same range, the same red horizontal line, but rather than getting a slow, choppy downtrend, you just gap down to your bottom. So right here, same thing. You reject the red, gap down to your second bottom, and then over here again, rejecting the red, gapping down to your third bottom, the lower low. Now, from this lower low, we will be forming an uptrend. We already are forming higher highs and higher lows here. That will be breaking us back above this blue line, and then theoretically from there, we should come back up to the red where we find a rejection, come down to the blue to establish support, and then finally break through the red horizontal line. The blue horizontal line is roughly 401. The red horizontal line is roughly 520. 520 plus is your macro break on AMC. And what I mean by macro break is this right here. This is the gap up, the macro break on AMC, which takes you to your squeeze. So that's what we're looking for now. Two very important levels, crucial levels. The two most important levels on AMC right now, 401 and 520. So, looking at this zoomed in now, because I want to mention something really quickly while I'm here. So this is coming down from the fifth point on both sides. You come down from your fifth point, you get this move in the green, lower leg on the left, this W type move which bounces on the blue, rejects the red, takes you to your second bottom. Over here, same thing, from the fifth point, you come down, bounce off the blue, you form this W with the lower leg on the left, come back up to the red, reject it, take you to your second bottom, gap up from there, gap up from there. Three peaks, all poking above the red. Over here, same thing, gap up, three peaks, all poking above the red. And then from the red horizontal line, once again, is where you find your rejection, which takes you down to your third bottom, the lower low. Over here, same thing, red line rejection, takes you down to the third bottom, the lower low. Again, both of the second and third bottom in the current cycle, you just got to gap down after hours. Compared to the January 2020 cycle, where you got a slow, choppy downtrend for both, just a reiterating bear flag. So this is what we're looking for now, and I've mentioned many times that this move will play out symmetrically. So this is what we're looking for now. So you could see it very clearly here, how the January 2020 cycle played out perfectly symmetrical, the W with the tri-peak. So it's a W, your left leg right here, the tri-peak is the middle, and then the right leg right here. So from your left, if you're just working backwards here, bounce up to the red, come down, and then break above the red. And then over here from your third, bounce up to the red, come down, break above the red. And this is where you squeeze. This is your macro break above the red, and this is your squeeze right here. Current cycle, same exact story playing out right now, where you have the W with the tri-peak, left leg right here, tri-peak, and then the right leg right here. So from the second bottom, a bounce up to 520, the red horizontal line, come down to the blue for support, break above it, and then over here, this is exactly what we're looking for. I have it indicated by the green squares. So the green squares here, this is the move comparable to this. Your second bottom right here, your third bottom right here, and now we're looking for this move in the green here. Again, 401, 520. 401, 520 in the current cycle. So this is what we're looking for, and theoretically, because I've mentioned multiple times the gaps are the same, we should be gapping up over this blue line. And when we do, we should see a run that takes us, I would say, at or close to 520 before you find a rejection, come down to the blue line, establish support, bounce off, and then you will gap up from there, your macro break on AMC, and then a straight line to your squeeze. So this looks very, very good. Without extended hours, the third peak of the tri-peak is not nearly as exaggerated and looks a lot more clean. So this is what we're looking for now, is a break above this blue to reject the red, come down to the blue to establish support, bounce, break through the red, squeeze from there. 520 plus on AMC is your macro break and will be taking us to our squeeze. And one final thing before I conclude the video. I mentioned this yesterday. So just calculating, it's just very simple math. Very simple math is what I'm doing here. Calculating the speed at which we're playing out the flat portion. So from the beginning until your third bottom in the 2021 cycle, 319 days. In the beginning to your third bottom in the current cycle, 253 days. So we're playing this out faster in the current cycle. How much faster? 319 divided by 253. We're playing it out 1.2 times faster in the current cycle than it played out January 2021. And then just, applying that to the third bottom to peak. Third bottom to peak here, 15 trading days. Third bottom to peak here, theoretically, third bottom to peak here, 15 days divided by the 1.2 multiplier is 12 days. This is from yesterday. 12 trading days lands you on August 29th, which is 7 trading days post OPEX. And if you've been watching me for some time now, I've shown everyone the previous 2 squeezes on AMC, January and June, both landed 7 trading days post OPEX. So very, very interesting math here pointing at August 29th. And is even more interesting because August 29th is the week after we get the reverse split and the conversion of APE into AMC. So the reverse split will be taking effect on the 24th, Thursday next week. The conversion will be the 25th, Friday next week. Your weekend, Monday, Tuesday, lands on August 29th. And from my very first videos on YouTube, I said the reverse split will be the catalyst for our squeeze. There's always going to be some justification for a volatile move to the upside or downside. In AMC's case, for the squeeze, the catalyst, catalyst if you will, is going to be the reverse split, and I've been mentioning that for months now. So that being said, that's pretty much it for the video. One thing that I do want to mention before I end the video is you could probably expect that this third bottom, this uptrend, this theoretical uptrend we're looking for, which should gap us over this blue line, this is going to play out faster than it did up here. So you could probably expect to be $4 plus relatively soon. I would, conservatively, I would say early next week, but it is possible we break back into the 4 range by end of week. That being said, that's pretty much it for the video. I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Another quick video, 12 minutes in. Once we get this break above, I will be going more in depth into my charts. But I mean, this is really all you need to know. This is all you need to see as far as the tracking goes. Everything else that I show, the EMAs, the RSI, it's all just, just what's the word? Drawing a blank. Support, I guess, is the word. It's just supporting the fact of you are here. At your third bottom, you are here. The EMA is the RSI, just supporting the fact that this is where we are in the macro. And again, the macro is fucking beautiful. So that's pretty much it for the video. I will catch you guys in the next one.